A bunch of animal protectors adopted a few squirrels, but one baby in particular stood out from the others. One tale from the 2008 opening of the Antler Ridge Wildlife Sanctuary in New Jersey is still very special to them. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. Antler Ridge Wildlife Sanctuary got a call in the winter. Linda DeLorenzo was notified of an abandoned attic as soon as she answered the phone. The caller stated that there appeared to be a litter of animals in the attic and that a team needed to be dispatched right away to assist the young animals. After Linda sent the information to the other rescuers, a group of people quickly came together and made their way to the specified area. Linda felt uneasy, though at the moment she wasn't sure why. Although the team was making their way up to the attic gently, Linda was still nervous. She sweated and gripped the ladder when it was finally her turn. Following their ascent up the ladder, they all stood stunned beside one another. The squirrel litter was in the center of the attic. The Antler Ridge Wildlife Sanctuary has successfully saved over 1,600 eastern gray squirrels since it opened in 2008. They have always been able to return the animals to the wild shortly after taking care of them. The team had encountered squirrel nests previously, but they had no idea how unique this specific case would be. Next to her, Linda heard one of the other rescuers shuffling. Most likely, they were drawing nearer to the nest. The voice said, "Look at them," but Linda was so engrossed in the sight of the litter that she didn't recognize the speaker. On top of a makeshift bed lay the nest of young squirrels. There were a few cushions and some blankets where they were supposed to relax. Some of them were moving and shrieking, while others slept soundly. For a brief while, the team's only desire was to take in the serene scene in front of them. Linda was taking in the spectacle as well, but she was the first to notice something strange about the litter. She noticed one small squirrel in particular. One squirrel seemed to have white fur in addition to the gray color of the rest. Its small head had a white patch in the center. Linda tapped the rescuer next to her, trembling, pleading with them to see what she saw. Then, both of them exchanged wide-eyed looks. In all their experience, none of them had ever seen a squirrel quite like this one. Linda, in particular, was interested in this creature and the possible meaning of its white patch. The rescuers picked up the litter with care. They succeeded in removing them from the attic and placing them inside the car. The rescue crew left and returned to the center after making sure the squirrels were okay. The nest was successfully brought back to the refuge. It had been some time since the litter was discovered, and the squirrels were becoming increasingly noticeable to the rescuers as they grew larger. Every squirrel had an individual personality. Some were shy from the start, while others were self-assured and outgoing. Seeing them develop together was endearing. Names were given to each of these squirrels: Hazel, Macadamia, Montana, Jimmy, and Dottie. They all appeared to be typical squirrels, and they were all in good health. Linda watched the squirrel with the white fur patch at this time. This small youngster was eventually given the name Fulbert. He stood out from his siblings in part because, after 2 weeks in the sanctuary's care, the color of his coat started to change. Fulbert's coat changed into something that no one at the shelter had ever seen before. Fulbert's fur turned white instead of gray or brown like all the other squirrels. The white-furred squirrel captivated the attention of everyone at the refuge. Fulbert was surrounded by those who had seen him only from a distance over the past few weeks, in addition to the others who had come to his aid. Talk about the little creature was the order of the day. "Fulbert's extreme whiteness surprised us all," Linda remarked. Linda had a gut feeling that this unusually colored fur would be significant. The whole team wanted to know if Fulbert suffered from a unique illness. They eventually reduced the list of potential explanations to 2. Fulbert may be leucistic or albino. Although at first glance these conditions may appear relatively similar, the main distinction is that leucism is the partial loss of pigment, whereas albinism is the complete absence of melanin from the animal's genetic makeup. Due to a genetic mutation, albinism is extremely rare. The rescue team was unable to identify which of the two conditions Fulbert had at this early point. The hue of Fulbert's eyes was the best indicator. Albinism causes an animal to have vivid red eyes, whereas leucism results in black eyes. The team would have to wait a few more weeks to get their answer, given how young Fulbert was. When Fulbert turned 4 weeks old, the moment arrived. Once more, the rescuers gathered around him, Linda among them, eager to see the precious moment when the white squirrel opened his small eyes. Everyone was taken aback. The rescuers finally received word that Fulbert's little eyes were crimson after a very long wait. He was a white squirrel. Scientific studies indicate that albino squirrels are rather uncommon. Only 1 out of every 100,000 gray squirrels experiences this condition. Laws protecting them from hunting and injury are in place precisely because they are rare. Fulbert was different from all his siblings, save for his appearance, but that was where the similarities ended. He was a squirrel just like the others, with the same level of interest in the customs and routines typical of his kind. He would accompany his family, for instance, when they went in quest of nuts and cleverly concealed them. They all assisted one another in constructing nests by utilizing the nearby materials. It's not just squirrels that can climb. Have you ever witnessed these fuzzy animals in your neighborhood park scaling trees? Despite how much they loved these squirrels, the Antler Ridge Wildlife Sanctuary was unable to maintain them indefinitely. Though the animals the rescue team cared for ultimately belonged in the wild, everyone on the crew loved spending time with the animals. It was finally time to release the squirrels after they had spent 12 weeks with the shelter, so the team bid farewell to Montana, Jimmy, and Dottie. Sadly, Fulbert was unable to go with his sisters and brothers. The fact that he was an albino had to be taken into account, as much as the wild beckoned to him. Animals with albinism may possess striking and distinctive qualities that humans find admirable, but in the wild, this would also make them easier prey. The woodland is home to numerous predators that could harm young Fulbert. Not helping either was the squirrel's low vision. The sanctuary chose to keep him at the facility because it could not bear these hazards. However, Fulbert's narrative does not finish here. Hazel and Macadamia didn't want to part from their albino sibling, even though the majority of the nest was allowed to return to the wild. Since the sisters decided to stay, the three have become inseparable. The squirrel siblings are still in the care of Antler Ridge Wildlife Sanctuary. Their needs were met by creating a sizable enclosure just for them. The animals have plenty of room to roam around in this cage, and there are various branches for them to leap on. As one might anticipate from siblings, they occasionally wrestle playfully or steal food from one another. Being able to live out the remainder of his days with his devoted sisters brings Fulbert great joy. Please share your thoughts about this topic in the comments section below. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.